Stealing cars is nothing new. But now, some thieves are literally ripping cars apart just to steal a handful of parts. Look at this damage. It's absolutely horrific. I'm actually really worried about this because my GT3 RS could be next. But this kind of damage isn't just happening to Porsches. Thieves have been targeting specific parts from loads of other brands too, and for some pretty weird reasons. In this video, I'm going to tell you all about these unusual crimes. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching carwow. This is the most shocking photo I've seen in ages. It's a Porsche Taycan that has been torn apart like a tin of sardines. Now this car hasn't been in a crash. Thieves have literally ripped the bodywork apart to steal the car's headlights. These actually look like this, in case you don't remember. Now this isn't the first time thieves have stolen individual car parts. You've probably heard of people nicking catalytic converters because they contain precious metals such as platinum. But this latest headlight incident is truly shocking. I can see why these lights are tempting for thieves. They're worth a fortune. A set of top specification matrix LED headlights for the new Taycan will set you back more than £2,600. I'm sure thieves would rather nick the whole car if they could, but that comes with a load of extra problems. Stolen cars are tricky to hide and difficult to sell, and something as expensive as a Porsche Taycan probably has some sort of GPS tracker on it too. But nobody is putting trackers on their headlights. Maybe they should. Individual parts don't usually have a unique identification number like the rest of the car either, so it's almost impossible to prove they're stolen. But there are other potential reasons for this crime spree, and one of them is really surprising. Some reports have suggested that stolen Porsche headlights are being used in cannabis farms. They emit less heat than the specialist plant-growing lights, making it harder for police to spot the farms. You see, what the police do is often fly over landscapes and potential farms, and they can see, using thermal imaging cameras, the heat signatures given off by these lights. These lights are required to grow the cannabis properly and mature it. However, the Porsche lights can also be used in this way, but because they're designed for being inside a car, they have better cooling and don't emit so much heat. And that means it'll be harder for the police to identify the cannabis farms from the air using their thermal imaging cameras. However, thieves aren't just taking crowbars and angle grinders to Porsche Taycans in order to steal their headlights. They've also ripped the eyes out of some Panameras and Cayennes. What's even more disturbing, for me at least, is that they're also doing it to Porsche 911s. Is my GT3 RS at risk? Well, I did fit it with the optional matrix LED headlights. And what would happen if someone decided to steal the headlights from my car? It could be extremely expensive if this happens. Because its wings aren't made out of metal, they are bespoke carbon fibre. I don't even want to think about how much this damage could cost to fix. It actually makes me feel a bit sick. But Porsches aren't the only cars having their headlights nicked. It's happening to other high-end German brands too, including Mercedes with the G-Class. However, it's not the latest G-Class I'm talking about. It's actually versions of the older G-Wagon. Typically, it's cars that were made between 1990 and 2018. Some owners of much older Gs want to give their cars a bit of a facelift, usually with flashy headlights and brake lights from the later 21st century models. Now, Mercedes never really changed the car's basic design, so many of these parts will bolt straight onto older G-Wagons. This means there's a huge demand for used second-hand parts. Most of these are probably legitimate, but the high demand makes these parts very tempting for thieves. One AMG G55 owner in the US had his car's headlights, brake lights and wheel cover stolen in less than 90 seconds. But it gets worse, because this happened to him twice. Thieves have also worked out how to steal whole new cars, like this Toyota RAV4, through the headlights. And all it takes is a portable speaker like this. Well, it's not actually a speaker. It's a clever bit of electronics called a CAN injector that's disguised as a speaker. Thieves connect this to the wiring loom that controls the car's adaptive headlights, and the fake speaker bombards the car's security system with coded messages. These fool the car into thinking the key is nearby, so thieves can unlock the doors and drive away. But headlights aren't the only things being stolen from cars, or being used to steal the car itself. Some BMW owners are having their airbags pinched. In fact, one member of the carwow video team had his BMW M2 broken into just so thieves could nick the steering wheel and the driver's airbag. They smashed the window and removed the whole steering wheel like a massive game of car operation. An immobiliser or tracker won't make any difference to people like this. They get around the car alarms by covering the lights with black tape and spraying expanding foam all over the horn before they start stealing stuff. This means no one will see or hear what they're about to do. It's very sneaky. But why would someone steal a second-hand airbag? Well, airbags can actually deploy in a relatively low-speed crash if the car detects a risk to the occupants. Even if the rest of the car has relatively minor damage, they can still go off. If a car's been in a medium-speed incident, you can pretty much guarantee it'll need some new airbags, even if the rest of the car is in pretty good shape. The way airbags deploy is incredibly violent too. Replacing airbags and any damaged interior trim is very expensive, especially if you buy directly from dealers or the manufacturer. Some dodgy garages might buy second-hand parts from private sellers to save some cash. It's almost impossible to tell if these parts are stolen or not. This isn't just happening to BMWs. High repair costs could be leading to these Honda airbag thefts as well. The Association of British Insurers reported that vehicle repair costs rose by 32% towards the end of 2023. There are many reasons for this. Cars are more complicated than ever, and so are the supply chains that deliver spare parts. And this means delays are common. Anyone remember the semiconductor shortage? Or that time when a ship got stuck in the Suez Canal and delayed everyone's Amazon packages? This affects car parts too. Delays make parts more expensive. This is because some buyers will pay over the odds to make sure they're the first in line when the parts finally become available. Delays also mean insurance companies have to pay more to provide customers with a courtesy car while theirs is getting fixed. The Association of British Insurers says that the cost of providing alternative transportation like this went up by 47% towards the end of 2023. Sometimes it's just cheaper and easier for insurers to write a car off, even if it looks like it's in okay condition after an accident. But when a car gets written off, that must mean the end to the story, right?
No! God, please, no! No!
Surely it can't play a part in any more weird car theft stories. Well, that's not really the case. Many insurance write-offs are actually sold at salvage auctions. Sometimes these cars are stripped for parts, but they can be repaired and put back on the road if they don't have significant structural damage. You've probably seen videos on YouTube of people doing exactly this. Big shout out to Matt Armstrong and his awesome car rebuilds. Matt has shown that repairing salvaged exotic cars like Porsches and McLarens can be a cheaper way to own your own dream supercar. And it can also be a great way to grow a massive YouTube channel. Okay, so you need to be pretty handy with the spanners and have a nice dad who can help you out. And there are some legal hoops you have to jump through if you want to insure and MOT a car that's previously been written off. But while Matt does everything by the book to make sure his cars are safe and legal, not everyone else does this because millions of people aren't watching them do it on YouTube. There are some people who just want to make a quick profit with a salvage car, and it's a pretty simple recipe. Buy a salvage car that has some front-end damage, find a similar car parked on the street that hasn't been in an accident, wait for it to get dark, then cut everything you need off this poor, unsuspecting car. Bolt it all onto your salvage car, give it a clean, and put it up for sale. Worst thing is, no car is safe. I've seen pictures of Audis, Volkswagens, Toyotas, Fords, and plenty more with most of their front ends missing. It isn't a localised problem either. These thefts were reported across the UK and around the world, from Birmingham to Wales, from Australia to South Africa. The Stolen Vehicle Intelligence Unit from Essex Police uncovered £27 million worth of stolen vehicles and parts in 2023 alone. What's crazy is most of the cars that had their bits nicked will probably get written off by the insurance companies, so they could end up in the same salvage auctions, and this vicious circle just continues on and on. This problem isn't going to go away on its own. Most people don't have a garage to keep their cars safely locked away in. As cars get smarter and more autonomous, their parts are going to get more and more expensive. I wouldn't be surprised if the onboard cameras and sensors on the latest semi-autonomous cars are about to become the next hot ticket for the car parts thieves.